Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel SD Biology Classes. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of class 10, that is control and coordination. So first of all, let's try to find out what is control. See, what is control? There are various functions that always working in a living body, but there is a need of something which can regulate the pace of this work. Either sometimes we have to increase the pace of the work, sometimes we have to decrease the pace of the work, sometimes we have to initiate some functions, sometimes we have to stop some functions, and for that we need a system, and that is control. That means control is regulation over various functions. So in a living body, their control is very important as because it plays a vital role to regulate the functions of various organs, glands, etc. Now what is coordination? As you already know that human body is multicellular. We have various organs in our body. All these organs work together. But if there is no coordination between their works, that means if there is no proper control over various organs, then the overall functions cannot be performed well. That means a coordinating system is very, very essential, which makes connections between different organs, and thus all the organs can work accordingly and ultimately perform as a whole unit. Now we will discuss the different modes of coordination. Coordinations can be divided into two different categories. First one is the physical coordination, and second one is the chemical coordinations. In plant body, we can see that there are no nerve cells. So how they respond in respect to stimulus? Generally, they use chemical means, that is with the help of hormones. So plants can only use chemical coordination methods. But in case of human being or most of the animal being, we have both physical as well as chemical coordination system or chemical coordination. See, in human being, we have nerves, brain. Not only that, we have endocrine system that release different kinds of hormones. So we can say both physical coordinations and chemical coordinations present in human body or animal body. Now let's explore why the coordination by nerves is called physical coordination and why the coordination through hormones is simply called chemical coordination. See, in case of nervous coordination, which is already termed as physical coordinations, as because they make connections, direct connections with different organs or different body parts. With the nerves, nerve carry the sensations in the form of impulse, take this from one place to another place, one organ to another organ, and make a direct physical contact between the organs. Thus it is called physical coordination. Whereas in case of chemical coordinations, there is no such direct contact between the organs. But how they coordinate, how they communicate with each other? In that conditions, the hormones, the biochemical substances released from different endocrine glands or some specialized cells released from one part of the body and travels with the body fluid to the target cells and then make the coordination between the release organ and the target organs. But as there is no direct physical contact between these two organs, target organs and the organs from where the secretions occur, it is called chemical coordinations. In other words, we can also say that hormones are biochemical substances. They release from one particular organs, glands or cells and carry the information to the distal places, to the target cells. As they carry the information in the form of chemical means, it is called chemical coordination. Now you can see that in human beings, physical coordinations and chemical coordination takes place. Physical coordination is by nervous system. It is controlled by the nervous system, and chemical coordination takes place with the help of endocrine system, with the help of hormones. So students, now we have to know something which is very, very important for class 10. See, structure of neuron or nerve cell. As I already told, I have to discuss about the physical coordinations mainly. So first of all, we will discuss about the unit of nervous system and the unit of nervous system is called nerve cell or neuron. Here is the structure of a neuron. See, it is non-myelinated or unmyelinated nerve fibers. Still, we can get the basic structure of nerve cell. So student, let's discuss the structure of neuron. It is the unit of nerve cell. What is neuron? Neuron is the structural and the functional unit of nervous system. Now, you can see that a nerve cell mainly consists of three basic parts. What are these? This is a long elongated extension that is called axon. This one is axon. And then you can see that the long protoplasmic extensions that are called as dendron and dendrites. These are actually dendron. You can see that these are the dendron, and the branches of dendron are actually dendrites. So you can see that dendron and dendrites. So this one is the first one. It is the part 1 segment. This one is the second one. And now we are going to talk about the third one. The third important part is the cell body. That is the cell body. And this is the third important part. So a neuron or nerve cell mainly consists of three basic parts: axon, dendron or dendrites, and a cell body. Let's talk about the different portions. First, cell body. What is cell body? The cell body is called the neurocyton or soma. So cell body is called neurocyton or soma. You can see that inside the cell body or soma there are so many different cell organelles. You can see there is a nucleus. You can see the nucleus is there. You can see that mitochondria are there. You can see that some ribosomes are there. You can see that Golgi apparatus is also there. You can see that endoplasmic reticulums are also there. So this is the portion of the cell where all type of cell organelles mainly persist. But one cell organelle is definitely absent in case of neuron. Can you guess which cell organelle? It is the cell organelle which is responsible for cell division. Nerve cells generally don't divide and their number remains same or constant throughout our lifespan. But the fact is that due to the absence of centrosome, the nerve cells are unable to divide. So centrosome is absent in case of nerve cell. Now you can see that some extensions are there. You can see the extensions, and these extensions are actually called dendron. This dendron further divides into many branches. These are the branches you can see, and these branches are actually called dendrites. So the dendritic tip, you can see that this portion, dendritic tip, I can say that this is a dendritic tip. These dendritic tips are the location or the positions where the stimulus get in touch. Whenever any stimulus comes in contact with these portions, this stimulus brings some electrochemical changes in the nerve cells, and these electrochemical changes travel towards the cell body. And then inside this, the accumulation of these electrochemical signals occur, and then with the help of AXON HILLOCK, this transmission, the electrochemical impulse, is transferred to the axon. Through the axon, these electrochemical signals transfer and ultimately reach to the axon terminals, the telodendria or the axon terminal. And you can see that at the end of each telodendria or the axon terminals there are synaptic knobs. The synaptic knobs are actually filled with neurotransmitter. There are a lot of vesicles, and these vesicles are filled with neurotransmitters. Okay, and the nerve impulse from the dendritic tip to the dendron, then cell body, then actions, and ultimately reach to the muscles or the nearby or neighboring nerve cell. So what is action? Action is the process of a nerve cell body that carries impulse away from it. Let's see the structure of a myelinated nerve fibers. See, this is the basic structure of myelinated nerve fiber. The three things are common as it was present in non-myelinated nerve fiber, like the cell body or CYTON, the dendron and dendrites, and the action portion. But what is the basic difference between the amyelinated and myelinated nerve fibers? In myelinated nerve fiber, you can see that a lipid insulating layer or envelope is there. This lipid envelope is called myelin sheath. It is actually insulated, and you can see that there are some cells inside, and these cells are called SWANN cell. So SWANN cells are present in the action surface that actually form the lipids and ultimately make some insulating envelope or cover over the action, and these layers are actually called myelin sheath. The gap between the two myelin sheaths, you can see that the gaps are there, and these gaps are actually termed as node of RANVIER. Later on, same, it is action terminal and the synaptic knobs are there. Here you can see the another picture of type of neuron. It's called NEUROGLIA. Actually, when we are talking about the nerve cells or nervous system, it mainly consists of two types of cells, either neuron or nerve cells or NEUROGLIA. You will learn about NEUROGLIA in higher classes. Students, after learning the structure of neuron, we will try to classify the neuron. The neuron can be classified on the basis of two basic categories. First of all, on the basis of the structure and on the basis of the presence of myelin or absence of myelin. Here we are going to classify the neuron on the basis of their structure. See, the neuron can be classified into main basic three basic categories, that is unipolar, multipolar and bipolar neuron. What are these unipolar, multipolar and bipolar neuron? The neuron which have a single cell body and a long extension of action attached with it, that is unipolar neuron. The neurons that have more than two dendrites or dendron and a single action, then it is called multipolar. And see, in the case of bipolar neuron, there is cell body connected with only one action and only one dendron. Now see, this unipolar, bipolar and multipolar neuron. In unipolar neuron, there is single cell body and there is long processed action. There is a single action. There is no dendrites or dendron. See, in bipolar neuron, there is single cell body with a processed dendron and a single action. In case of multipolar neuron, you can see that cell body with more than two dendron or dendrites and a single action. When we observe the diagram of neuron, we have seen that there were two types, one myelinated and another one non-myelinated. So on the basis of the presence or absence of myelin sheaths, the neurons can further be classified into two groups. First one is the myelinated nerve fiber and the second one is non-myelinated nerve fiber. When SWANN cell form myelin sheath, in case of myelinated nerve fiber, SWANN cell form the myelin sheath. And it is generally seen, myelinated nerve fibers are generally seen in cranial nerves, in the spinal nerves. Whereas, when SWANN cell does not form any myelin sheath and there is no myelin envelopes around the action, and this kind of neuron are called non-myelinated nerve fiber or unmyelinated nerve fiber. Where we can see it? We can see it in autonomous nervous system, the nerves of autonomous nervous system. So we have learned the physical coordination, the chemical coordination, the control and coordination, as well as the basic structure of neuron or nerve cells, the unit of nervous system. Now we will learn what is synapse. As already you have seen the structure of neuron, at the end of each neuron, at the end of each action terminal, you saw that there are some knob-like structures. Those knob-like structures was termed as synaptic knob. Now, when one nerve ends, then how the transmission will pass from one nerve to the another? So there are some adjacent neurons, and in between these two adjacent neurons, there is a gap junctions or gap. So what happens in this gap? In this gap, the nerve impulse that was transported from cell body to actions and ultimately reach to the synaptic knob will release and then reach to the nearby or next neuron or the next dendritic tip of neurons. So this gap between the two adjacent neurons is simply called synapse, or sometimes it is also termed as synaptic cleft. See, the gap junction between the two adjacent neurons through which the nerve impulses travels from one neuron to the another is simply called synapse. Now you can see the structure of a synapse. See, it is the nerve ending, it is a synaptic knob. You can see that is a synaptic knob. There are so many action, it's a part of action terminals. There is synaptic vesicles are there. And these vesicles, there are a lot of neurotransmitters are there. I will discuss about different types of neurotransmitter in the next video. From there, this neurotransmitter released and reached to the nearby post-synaptic neuron. That means the second part of the neuron or adjacent neuron. So whenever the neurotransmitters are released from the action terminals or synaptic knob, it passes through these spaces and ultimately reach to the another neuron or part of dendritic part of another neuron. And these portions, this gap is called synaptic cleft or synapse. So student, thank you for watching my video. In my next video, I'll discuss about the nerve impulse transmission through the neuron.